What if I told you that everyone virtue signals all the time? You're probably thinking, Dan, you are out of your fucking mind. Maybe I am. Going back to the yesterday's video, I just talked about how a lot of our ideas are wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong right now. But let me explain. And by the way, I am in my vehicle right now because I said that I would. Sorry I don't have a cowboy hat on, Phil. I don't have a cowboy hat. And I'm at work. So look at all this mail that I have to deliver. Neither here nor there. So, why do I say that? Virtue signaling. A lot of people hate virtue signaling. And I get it. I was pointing out that kind of shit before I even knew what it was called. The first time I heard the word virtue signaling was on the Rogan Experience podcast. But I was like, wait a minute, that's what I've been talking about for years. Basically, we are all communicating all the time, whether we realize it or not. And all we do is communicate the image that we want to put out into the world, verbally and non-verbally. 100% of the time we're communicating between the things we say, the clothes we wear, the cars we drive, the activities we participate in. All of it is our way of broadcasting to the world who we are, or more specifically, who we want people to think we are. Does that make sense? So, number one, we are always communicating with the world, putting out the image that we want people to perceive. Make sense? That's virtue. Like, virtue is a part of that. Our belief system and the way we behave, the things we would and would not do, are all a part of what we communicate to the outside world. What we want people to see us as, how we want them to perceive us, okay? So virtue, the things we believe and the things that we do, are all a part of that, right? So that's why we are always virtue signaling all the time. So I know this is going to piss a lot of people off. The people who hate virtue signaling and are always using it as a way to dismiss others. By the way, one day I will make a video about the easiest path to dismissal, which that's what it is. When you throw away someone else's argument on the grounds that they're virtue signaling, that's what you're doing. Everyone does this. They take the quickest path to dismissal. If you don't have to fucking engage somebody's argument, then it makes it easy for you. Anyway, so that's why I say we are always virtue signaling all the time, everyone. But if you don't know what virtue signaling is, basically it's when when you put on display your moral superiority. Like basically it's a way of saying, whether outright or unintentionally, like with subtle undertones, I would never do such a thing, right? That's a virtue signal. You are signaling the virtue that you want to put out into the world. Most of the time, it's to show other people what team you're on, okay? I would never do this because I am better than that. You point out someone else's shitty behavior. You point out, your own good behavior. Basically, when you point out someone's shitty behavior, you're saying, I don't do this. I don't do what that person does, and that makes me on this team right here. And you are signaling the virtue of being on that team. Basically, that's what it is. And that's what people have a problem with. So the people who call out virtue signaling are basically saying, I think you're full of shit, right? There's something disingenuous about when you make a statement just for the purpose of showing other people a thing, about yourself, right? And that's what a lot of people try to call out with virtue signaling. So to those who think virtue signaling is a negative behavior, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the people who post their moral superiority just for the purpose of showing. It's a front. It's a fucking farce. Like, basically, they're saying you're putting out this mask, this bullshit mask of who you are, to make other people fucking either, to either absolve yourself of responsibility or to get rid of, you're basically shining the light over here. Look at these people. Look what they're doing. I don't do that. So look away from me and look over there at them. And everybody does this all the time. We constantly redirect the spotlight from our own behavior onto other people. That's why whataboutism is so popular. That's why the tu quoque argument is so popular. But I digress. This is getting out of control. My videos are normally like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Virtue signaling a lot of times is just you fucking saying shit to put out like a persona, okay? People who don't like it call it out. Basically, conservatives are constantly calling out liberals for virtue signaling because online liberals do it more often. But the whole point of this video is I want everyone to realize that whether it's exaggerated or not, like online, the shit is exaggerated. Whether it's exaggerated or not, we are all doing it all of the time, okay? So just keep that in mind. That's the only thing I want. I'm always looking for ways to point out our own behavior. I don't care what other people are doing. I want you to start looking at yourself. How am I also doing these things that I fucking hate about other people, okay? So we all virtue signal all the time, whether we realize it or not. That's all I was trying to say. Have a good day. Maybe subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you next time.